Kevin, please play that one.
Oh, man.
So young.
I remember that.
I came to the music therapy program from the jazz program, but then after having an experience working with some kids and children with autism on the spectrum, and just sort of that other world opened up, and so I jumped over into the music therapy world. And honestly, what a great mix, the two, because the improv of music therapy was really just fun and comfortable for me, and quite different from what I had been doing. So I worked for many years as a music therapist and taught at CAP for many years, and eventually went back to graduate school, did a master's in counseling, and sort of do mostly counseling now, but definitely have my guitar and some drums in my office, and grab them when needed.
I'm Catherine Staples. When I went through the program, I was Catherine Smith, because people don't know who I am. I flew out from Newfoundland to do the program. I had completed a Bachelor of Music at Mount Allison University. Actually, Louise and I overlapped. She was a little bit ahead of me, and when I was just starting, and then we show up at the first day of class and kind of look at each other and say, "Oh my God, I know you from Mount A." In case anybody watching this doesn't know, it's in Sackville, New Brunswick. So went through the 2-year program, and it was very intense, obviously. And I had gone through a very rough time because my father had been killed in first semester. So I had this wonderful, supportive environment to work through all of that. So it was just wonderful in that regard to be surrounded by all of that. And I have been working as a music therapist, mostly with development and delayed adults, and also with elder care, again in residential and community settings. 7 years ago, we relocated to the Comox Valley. My husband retired, and we decided we wanted to move out here. And I've been working in complex care ever since. Some time ago, I decided to pursue GIM. When I got talking to Liz, of course, I knew she was teaching GIM, and then I thought, well, why don't I get some extra training, and I can work with high-functioning adults. And so, yes, now I'm also a GIM practitioner, so that's part of what I do as well. I have a little memento from our time at CAP. I don't know how well you can see this, but can you see the CAP College logo on the binder? Okay. Yes. I just thought I'd bring it along, and then I realized why I still have this. This is Ruben's guitar book. And I bet you every working day of my life, I have used something that I learned from Ruben, and say how grateful I am for the fabulous instruction that we got. Not just the guitar instruction, but just overall. Yeah. Fabulous experience, wonderful friends. I mean, I've kept in touch with a number of you over the years. And
like Catherine, I sort of came from the East Coast, not quite as far as her. Mostly grew up in Quebec and went to New Brunswick, to Mount Allison, where I ran into Catherine. And I graduated, didn't know what I wanted to do. And on a lark, I moved out to Vancouver, and that was in 81. And just sort of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And at Mount A, somebody did talk about music therapy there. So it was always in the back of my mind. And so I finally got the courage to apply, and haven't looked back since then. And not only did I run into Catherine that first day of classes, but Susie was also familiar to me. And like people are saying, just those 2 years were just life-changing, really. And like Susan, it's like, yeah, this is what I need to do, and this is what I'm going to do. And I can't believe that it's 4 years. And at Riverview, I had done a practicum there, and it wasn't my favorite place, but I got a call that a couple of music therapists were on extended sick leaves, and can you come in for an interview? And I went, I was going to do an internship, but I'll come in for an interview. And they picked me. And I was there for another 25 years.
Oh my.
And one of my contracts, which I thought was fluky, I got it as well, was at Sunny Hill. It was a 1-hour contract on a Sunday at 6:00 for an hour. Yeah. And so I went, okay, I won't get it, but I guess nobody applied. And that also turned into a part-time position. And this coming year, it'll be 30 years at Sunny Hill.
So I guess I'll just kind of jump onto that. So even though I don't practice music therapy at this juncture, I follow a lot of music therapy work and music therapy schools and music therapists. I work now in different senior living communities, and I came into the program from, I guess I've been in Manitoba, and I had just graduated with a BA in music from University of Winnipeg. And I'd heard about music therapy when I was at university there, but the program was at Wilfrid Laurier. So I hopped on the train from Winnipeg and went over to Wilfrid Laurier to Cambridge. I think that's where it is.
Kitchener, Waterloo. Yeah.
Waterloo, thank you. Yes. Yeah. Had my audition. And when I came out of my audition, I heard some people talking about this program on the West Coast, somewhere in North Vancouver. And I said, what? I said, that's kind of the area I'm from. So what the heck am I doing over here? So I asked the students that were auditioning to tell me more about that program. And as soon as I got all the details, I wrote them down. I'm always writing notes. I hopped on the train, went back to Winnipeg, and then I contacted Capilano and talked to Nancy McMaster.
Right.
And then an audition tape, and I sent it in.
Yeah.
And then I drove out with some friends from Winnipeg and moved to North Vancouver.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of how that started. And yeah, those 2 years, they were pretty impactful. I took the job at Burnaby Hospital as sole charge music therapist, and was there for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And then while I was at Burnaby, that seemed to be my pivotal kind of moment when I moved from music therapy into management, and I guess into management, and that kind of forged my way into managing assisted living and going into the community kind of settings. So
I came to the music therapy program because I was in love. And I think that kind of colored my whole 2 years, because I handed in my wedding to-do list as instead of an assignment one time.
That's awesome.
Nancy handed back to me. She said, I don't think you want me to mark this. So I was like, I had heard about music therapy from a friend who lived in Vancouver, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, and I had been heading into teaching. I was going to go to Camrose Lutheran College, and then that was the year that my sister got married, and I was investigating it, and then asked if I could transfer credits if I took the course there. And then they said there's only one place in Canada offering this music therapy at the diploma level, which appealed to me because 4 years seemed like a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took, and then Chad lived out here. So it was like, I can take my education and I can be in relationship, and just kind of checked all the boxes. So I moved out. I came out after my sister's wedding and applied to the program 6 weeks before it started. And after the program was finished, I moved out to Abbotsford, and Chad and I got married. I started doing, I think when I look back now, I think a lot of the stuff that has happened for me has just been because I didn't think there was any problem with whatever I was going to try to do. Like, I just took chances. Like I remember applying for a job that was supposed to be for in recreation, and I thought, well, music therapy and recreation there, so why don't I see if they would hire me as a music therapist? So I phoned them up and said, hey, I'm a music therapist, what do you think? So they gave me a interview, and that ended up being the job that now is at Cottage Worthington.
Oh, cool.
As a HSA contract. So I think, and then when I got my job out in Chilliwack, it was the same kind of thing. I didn't realize anybody else was applying. So I just kind of went in there like I owned the place, and and then the friendships that I had. I mean, Louise and Cheryl, you played at our wedding, and
Yeah.
Susan, you were there. I still have the video of everybody doing that, and it's been so wonderful over the past years to know that we can keep in touch. And
I moved out from Calgary, Alberta, to come to this program. It was definitely a culture shock. I'd fallen in love with Vancouver as a city, but I'd never been in a program like this before. And so it was pretty impactful. I knew as soon as I walked into this program that this was my career for life. And it has been, and it still is. I've been a music therapist now for 33 years, working in with seniors and end-of-life care. I'm teaching up at Capilano University since 1998. I went on and got a master's in music therapy and a PhD working with Dr. Carolyn Kenny, which was wonderful. And I'm still on the CMT board and MTABC board still, and FACBC board, still pretty involved.
Huh.
Wow.
Hmm.